collective energy reading. Please only take what resonates. Always leave the rest for the best, no matter stress. Because you are stressed, because you must be doing this infidelity, dusting off, judgments taking place, this feminine, masculine, a family member, a friend, had a relationship, and you have to look at those personal relationships, business relationships, who you was working with, who was speaking these lies, because it was being indecisive, there wasn't being real to that seal, to that spiritual seal, that relationship. That's when you're lying, cheating, succubus spirits around you, blocking you, stopping you, you not having that clarity of thought, not having that compassion, and being creative. How was you being creative? When you were speaking, who was you sleeping with and blocking with? Was you using that initiative? Was you being that true Inspector Morse, connecting to the spirit, to your heart, manifesting, creating, and being in that wholeness and moving with grace? Or was you being a disgrace with these serpent energies moving like one slivery, slimy, sloppy snake? Because you was fake. And you can see that Cancel Queen, public crowns, then cuts fast, reputation swings on the threads. That's take accountability. That's red draws power. When you're taking that action, when you got this ego and you're dominating and you're controlling and you think that you're being smart, all because of your mindset, the way you worked and you learned from family, friends, the way how you grew up, that energy, habits, illusions, confusions, because the way your mindset worked and you wanted to be able to take control over people because you lack compassion, lack stability, because you was insecure, or because your mindset, what you valued, you've seen things on that external, you didn't connect to the spiritual as well as the external. They valued money, lust, greed, those 7 deadly sins. That's when you're not connecting. And you're in them 5 senses. They was in that 5 senses of Lucifer. They was not connecting to that physical universe. They was not listening to that conscious mind. They was not listening to that body and their senses when they was taking their actions and covering in their thoughts and speaking. They was not inner standing when they was moving with these sensual pleasures and they was indulging. They wasn't having that humanity. That's when you're in hell, running through your foot bottom. These low dense energies, Saturn, and it all has to return. Because when you think you're mastering your craft, but the Most High God sees all, and you have to bridge those dots to that connection, you have to start inner standing. Because that's when you're looking at that person, when you're trying to master and you're mastering, that signifies your mind. And where your mind was at, their mind was in them low dense energy chakras. They didn't have that spiritual enlightenment like you did. You was just illuminating their darkness because you had that divinity within inside of you. You was standing because you was that spirit. You was that water. You released these emotions. You seen the fire, the energy that people put in you, protected yourself from these divine feminines and masculines. You stood in your earth sign, caring, nurturing, providing, supporting, assisting, enabling yourself to have that oneness. That's when you're connecting and who you're serving and looking about the people that you're serving with. In your house, your property, jobs, working, the public. That's who's sleeping with and dying with and trying with. Did you have that discernment, that high clarity of wisdom? Because when you have to connect, you have to be that star. You have to connect because that's symbolizing that supreme, that important role that you're guiding and taking action. People got a social awareness of you. Balance. That's when you're consciously awoke, steadfast, organized. That's when you got these structures, you got firm foundations, because you see when people start honoring you. Because that judgment takes place, you have to see when they're in that low dense energy, have been led by those serpent spirits. That's when you're in hell, that heel catcher. And you're in them low carnal minds, and that's that lower state of consciousness when you're not really thinking. And you're moving through that foot bottom, running for lust, greed, pride, power over others, over other people's minds. And that's because you're having for lust and extra energies and you're not connecting to that solar plexus, nurturing yourself. This could be a mother figure, father figure. Still didn't get nurtured, because where do you learn from? That nurturer, that mother, that carer, that provider, that support. And that's when you lack love and lack compassion. And you only love extra energies and loving money, the things that you can see, not the spiritual, that inner side of you, that oneness. When you're connecting and you knowing you need to clean your feet just like them Islamic people do. When they're going into that church, that tradition, people clean their feet before they pray. These people wasn't cleaning their feet when they was playing. They was running through low dense energies, running like energy vampire, your succubus spirits draining. They lacked nurturing. They was not moving with compassion, having that caring nature. They was doing it for stability and beauty, pleasure. They wasn't down to earth. They wasn't practically analysing and thinking critically, giving that inspiration. They was doing it with enthusiasm, great aggressive energy. Because that person and that person said this and she didn't do that, but they didn't have that veil. You deveiled these divine feminines and masculine. The divine is deveiling them. People in their community be deveiling them because they were stubborn and materialistic. They tried to obtain power. They didn't realise that you was an Inspector Gadget. You move with love. You had balance. You filled your cup. You've got that unity within oneness with that divine. You're Inspector Morse, Inspector Gadget. You are that 10 of Cups now. They're looking back towards you and like, oh my God, that was my 2 of Cups. My divine feminine, divine masculine. Oh my gosh, my mindset towards money. I didn't put that love in that cup, what I should have done. That was that whole 10. Take this all as it resonates. They was too busy out doing this infidelity. There's a boy I know. He's the one I dream of. Looked into my eyes. He took me to the clouds above. Now they're waking from dreaming. Now they tell me, look, dream time, imagine that, dream time. Tell me, is it really love? 3, 4, that divine masculine's been looking at you. 7, relationships. And I wake from dreaming. Now they're waking from dreaming, getting that high clarity and awakening. Tell me, was it really love? That law of attraction. How will I know if he really loves me? When you master your craft. How will I know with every heartbeat? When you have that compassion and you be creative and you start speaking your truth. And you got that enlightenment, that oneness with the divine. And you find that moral compass to do right and be right. They trying to suppress your mind. So people was trying to suppress your mind so you wasn't in that haven. And that was you using your intelligence. And that was you knowing your brain, those emotions, being that Inspector Morse, following that course. You was on the alignment for that assignment. Because you seen that higher of that consciousness to be able to connect. That was that heavenly state. And that was in that state of your body and your mind, and you was just in sync. And that was that basic. There was in that animal instincts, running, flighty, detached from the self, emotions, childlike spirit. Don't want to grow because the mind was too slow. Now they're trying to follow that bright little star that you are. They're having that awakening. I'm going to sneeze so it's true. So they be sneezing, having that awakening, clearing out their mind. All of those sinuses, deveiling. And that's no looking now, because that's that birth. It's for these new beginnings. It's even a birth of a child, a job, love, or coming with a gift. They see you like without fear, and so you are fearless. You're standing within your power. You're spiritually connected to the divine. You're this high priestess, divinely guided, intuitive. They now want to be divinely guided to take that leap of faith to come towards you and be open towards you. Because as they've been around sorcerers, they need serendipity, because now they're growing in awareness about that feminine energy. It was doing spell work, mind control, psychological, and they do magic, or even got people, peers, to inflict heartache, hurt, or even harm your way. But that they didn't realize. They didn't realize the Most High was your guidance, your protector, providing you with that guidance and support, assisting you to have that openness, that oneness to check in with you. Because now they're seeing, they be put into shame. It's highlighting their own wrongdoings. Judgment's taking place. The judgment's taking place. Family, friends can see this. They could be feeling like, no, late or never. Did you really actually do that? Yes, they did. And could be significant. November. They have become a prey with no one to deliver. No one to say restore. Isaiah 4. Their heart, their structures, those foundations, what they was trying to possess. That relationship, unity and balance within that community. Their mind, their stress. They're having discernment. They haven't got that discernment, that oneness, that knowledge within them. 21, because that's that world. And they want to be able to restore now because they're looking at that relationship, connecting to their intuitions, moving with their heart now. They maybe want to be a fool and take that leap and come towards you. That's Isaiah 42, verse 21. Take it all as it resonates. Keep telling you these church people don't read numbers. They will tell you that somebody became a prey and no one to deliver. To deliver to do what? Because these prays can't do shit. No one to restore them, their mind, their thoughts, their feelings, because that's that oneness within you. And when you're not centering because of the way how you're thinking and you're moving it, that mini brain, and you have to look because it's that sense, it's touch, listen to your trust, your gut feelings. 3, compassion, creative, inner peace, because they was having this for infidelity. 4 of Pentacles, security, to secure property. Cancer, feminine energy, masculine. Now they're getting into the way that they feel. That was because their structures. They have these habits, illusions, confusions. That's because they're connecting now. That most sacred part of their self, because they was on that karmic side. They wasn't listening to the spirit within inside of them, their ancestors, divinely guided. It was all for money. 5, now they're worrying because they had that lack mindset. Now they could be feeling left out in this cold because it was trying to secure, and feminine is trying to secure their money. Now they've got to go to court in regards to this property because they was in the childlike spirit. They could have even had a child because they was taking risks and gambling. Lacking, losing. Mother, father, Cancer. Now they're looking about the illusion, the moons. They could be having stress and conflict, feeling unstable now where they are. That's because they was moving for money. Now they can see that infidelity was all for money. 9 of Pentacles. They thought they was going to that 9. Now it was all illusions. Now you can see these illusions and they're trying to follow their self. And that little star, they was following the wrong star. 7. All because of these options. They wasn't taking that rightful option. And when you're taking the option, you don't know what's in those options. And they got illusions, confusions, stubborn, controlling, possessive people around them. Blocking them mentally, emotionally. Aggressive, controlling. Aggressive, controlling. Now they're feeling overwhelmed. Because when you have to look back, they're like, oh my gosh, now I'm gaining that higher clarity. You was that divine one. They wasn't listening to that spirit within inside of them. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally blocked. No manners, respect towards you. Jupiter, now they can see how you're growing and you're moving. They was in foreign cultures. Their mindset was foreign. And they wasn't taking that righteous action. Now they be looking towards you. You're moving forward. You're taking that righteous action. You've got that balance. They maybe want to take that, follow that righteous action now. They maybe want to come towards you. 9, travel. Different cultures, backgrounds. They can see you're growing. They could be growing wisdom now in regards to who you are. That heart and the options that they took. That relationship. They may even have to go to court. Seek some knowledge. Seeking wisdom. Higher educational, paying for educational skills for friends, family, even to be able to travel. They may want to pay for you to travel. They may be trying to travel towards you because they're dreaming now and that's become a prey. 5 of Cups, grief. No one to restore them now. They're having stress because that's that overwhelm. They're having this overwhelmed feeling. All of a sudden they can see they was on that 5. That was that 12, a karmic cycle. Now they're looking back towards you. They can see it's that judgment taking place. Shame on a blood clot. Maybe you had to go round and go round because you didn't have that compassion. You wasn't caring, you weren't nurturing. Your mindset was running to money, lust and greed. That's because your attitude, you was only feeling your own cup. You weren't feeling the other cups and thinking and nurturing all the other aspects of those relationships. Now you're feeling lack, left out, worry. Because that mindset towards money, you're controlling the narratives. When you was in that childlike spirit, acting like you had money, like you didn't, was more than what you was. You didn't realise when you had this creative flair and who you was creating with. And when you are enjoying and spending money, taking gambling risks. 4 of Pentacles, security. I secretly look up to you. You inspire me. So these people, family members, friends, cousin, feminine energy, masculine, they could be secretly looking up to you because you're inspiring them to connect to their heart, their emotions, gain that structures, that firm foundations. Look at that routine check. Go deep. Those building blocks. That's the illusions, principles. When you're able to connect and you're that Inspector Gadget, You're unable to connect to those five senses. You're identifying. You move with passion. You're creative. You're supportive. You got harmony, stability, balance. You speak truth. You speak life. Prosperity in this bleak life. Speak truth, speak life. Prosperity in this bleak life. Look at those options. Critically analyze and think about what choices. You gain that insight. Connect to your heart. Move with love and compassion. Provide it to all. Friends, families, whether you're with them, not with them, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, whether who's trying to control you, you put some blocks in place. You have to gain insight, you have to protect yourself when people are being objective towards you and indecisive. And making you and being sincere, you're sincere. You move with love. They was insincere and didn't know how to create. And when they was having these extra energies, and that was like your romance and your beauty and your artistic flair, the way how you're unable to create and manifest, you was balanced. You wasn't able to look and encompass relationships, feelings, thoughts. When you had to end cycles, you had to put blocks in place. You knew about boundaries. You knew you wasn't making people control you in your mindset. You was enabled to be able to grow and evolve. You leave the stress for the rest. And you know about the stress. And the piantes. And they better know the rest. And now they're getting to know the rest of who you was. You was at 12. They was unrealistic and escaping from those emotions. 3, they was just like about their self and money. They was in that lack mindset, flight and detached from their emotions. They wasn't ready to transform or change. They didn't want to enable their self to grow. They didn't listen to the spirit within inside of them. Maybe because they lacked nurturing. It was all childhood trauma, childhood pain, seeking and searching in the wrong places. Because that's in that worry mindset. Just a one-night stand. So they're going to say it was just a one-night stand. When there's on that childlike spirit with that feminine energy, a family member, a friend, somebody that could have been close towards you, a mother figure. A one-night stand. Because in that 7 of Cups now, Isaiah 7:4, about the relationships connected to the heart, that balance wasn't listening to the spirit. Now they're gaining insight, listening to that spirit within inside of them, their mindset, looking, external, internal, feelings, emotions. When they was in hell, they're connecting to that head, and they're looking, and it's that power, and it's looking now instead of like conscious guiding their actions. It was based on love, connecting. Because they was running for lust and greed, childlike spirit, idealistic, gambling. And they're seeing that predecessor, Matthew 5:2-5:1. Because when they was gambling you in choices in the relationships and they had a child, and they're looking now, their attitude, aggressive emotions. And it's the temptations, desires, they was in that Saturn, temper. Matthew 4:1-11, now they're connecting this masculine, their attitude, ego, flight and detach. And it secures Revelation 12 karmic cycles. Now they're looking at their self, their attitude, the approach towards life. And then they're going to need a grounding. It's that roaring lion. It's seeking to devour your complete trust in Peter 5. When you had that aggressive energy controlling, when you was wisdom institutionalized, occultist, blocking you, Saturn, spell work, holding on. 13, that's when you have that death and the reawakening to the heart, the structures, who was being controlling, who was trying to possess. And that's that Saturn. It's appearing in the healing, court, mind, challenges, jobs, religious. And that's righteousness. It's acting as that access. It's mental mind. Job 1, yourself, your attitude, the relationships, your choices. 9, are you having manners and respect, dignity? Don't do to others that you don't want to be done to yourself. A moral compass. Asking God to grant you serenity to accept things you cannot change. Because they're having tower moments. That's them having awakening. Higher clarity, who you are. Numbers 2, 2, 2, 2. Move with the heart, they can see your high priestess. There was being stubborn, possessive, controlling. They can see you're dependable, grounded, stable, practical, reliable. Now they're getting in that love. Transforming Pluto, they was in that subconscious mind, running for money, lust, greed, pride. They was lack nurturing, lack stability. All because of their illusions. And that's that angel. It blocks. It's your path. And it blocking your path, it blocked them. Because that's Satan for the obstacles. 1 Peter 5:8, they wasn't listening. They didn't say they had to protect themselves from people's being stubborn, controlling, flighting, detached, causing you stress. You have to get clarity because you was in that ego. All because you're doing things in secrets, possessing inheritances, taxes, loans. You're not identifying when you're just being aggressive because I am. And now they're thinking because of the way they was speaking and the way they was learning. Now they're gaining structures, looking at that foundation, that heart. Those divine feminines, masculines, they need to be able to know the karmics walk around. They do like roaring lions, seeking someone to devour. They're now looking, because that was that decisive victory over adversary. It's offering you that ultimate triumph and that advocate against Satan's accusations. Those divine feminines, masculines, that pride, humbled, feel less important. That pride they had, it's humbled by their ordinary disillusions. That's that defeat. Those karmics, they prevail. They thought they were superior. Those divine feminines, masculines, they be feeling a sense of gratitude, modesty, being made to be able to realize the limitations after revealing that pursuit of honor. Your experience, it was profound. You was at 9, now they're worrying, they're stressed, they're having that conflict, they're like revelations, like a sick woman in the bed crying, don't know what to do. And asking the Most High God, everything's gonna be alright. You had to say, they said no woman, no cry, so you didn't cry, you had to nurture yourself. You gave yourself that love. Yes, it was overwhelming. Yes, it was revealing. Yes, you had to learn to compass those emotions and look at the mysteries, because people was looking at illusions. You went towards your dreams. And you're moving towards your dreams. Don't worry, it's overwhelming, but you're nearly there. Right at that, you've got that power and that willpower. Don't worry, people was going real bad because they was insecure, lack compassion, or because of their aggression, or because of their ego, their pride. They was in that alter ego. What you see on the outside is not who they are on that inside. They didn't listen to that spirit of inside of them. They was flighty, detached, because all the insecurities was taking over them, their mind, their capacity to even think. When you're indulging, they didn't understand the concepts. They didn't bridge those bridges, those gaps. That was all because of how they put themselves out in public. They wasn't paradigm busting. Now they're busting their paradigms, and you busted right through their paradigms because you spoke truth. Now they want to be able to come and speak truth towards you. About these family members and friends, they want to be able to come and bring justice towards you, because now they're ending karmic cycles, just like you had to end your karmic cycles alongside those divine feminines, masculines, because they was rebelling, they didn't have structures. Now they're looking back to their heart, and it's restoration. They was putting restrictions in place to overwhelm you with your thoughts, psychological, all so you could be insecure. Like you didn't have no care and compassion, like you weren't creative, like you wasn't able to encompass emotions. And that was escapism, because they had these illusions, because they had these addictions. And that was all about imaginations, because of their mind, that psychic, the way you experience. And your experiences where you express yourself. So these are getting vexed now because they're hearing, they see, and they've got social awareness of who you are. And you know they had this infidelity with a family, a friend, who's maybe yours, maybe somebody in their community, yours, for comfort, stability, determined to be able to cling on to your masculine. They was determined to be able to possess money. They was trying to be able to create. And now they're seeking, using their intuitions. They can see your creative, speaking, teaching, enabling. They may have to go court and seek some information, because they're looking at the people in their self around them. They may be wanting to be able to get that freedom to travel, maybe get money. They're in that hardship, worrying, how am I going to come towards you? They could be being grieved because you see that you're blocking. I dream about you. I see you and talk to you in my dream. I love you. Now they're dreaming about you. 12, because that's that Neptune, the dreams. They can see now, they won't listen to their psychic abilities, that spirit of inside. They was full of cups of illusion and confusion. Now all of a sudden they're dreaming about you. They're feeling overwhelmed, because those feelings, it's connecting to that spirit within inside, and it's controlling those emotions. That's when you have to master your craft. Secretly looking you up. 333 social media, hiding, blocking. So they're hiding, looking you up on social media, because they can see you got that wisdom, you got high clarity. They're gaining information now about the actions that they took. Now they're getting clarity. They maybe want to be able to speak, because it's that intellect. When you're using your intuitions, they're getting that knowledge. They're like, oh my gosh, you know. They're grounding their self. They're trying to hide their self because of the things that they was doing in unknown. Now they may be blocked from even taking action towards you, because of the seeds they planted when they was in this home, and they're now looking about the places where they was grounded. They're not feeling grounded because certain people are getting blocked and dropped. Those karmics, the family members, those friends, the community. That Empress was not so impressive. She was a karmic spirit. They didn't make those positive choices. Now they're looking about those lovers and the people that they have those relationships with, and they're like that stress, conflict, instability. They could be feeling left out in the cold, their health-wise, like your spiritual, emotionally falling. And the service, they're no longer getting that service now. They may not have no home. That home may be stressed and not so comfortable. That's having not firm foundations. People aren't so caring now. Not nurturing. Not providing that service. That's mainly like your homely, your motherly figure, and you're providing, you're just enabling people, cooking, providing that service so everyone's happy. It's not happy. Just the one night stand. That's why, because it was just the one night stand. Look, in a childlike spirit, they were taking these options, gambling. In a childlike spirit, it was a one night stand, gambling, taking risks. They could have had plenty of one night stands. With so many different, one trying to hold on, taking control, speaking. You're going to see about the actions. Now they can see their daydreaming. It's that dream time about the options. They can see you as a part of that joy. They was doing it for money, lust, greed, kids, family, illusions, securing inheritances, taxes, loans. Now you're going to see dominating. You tried to speak and give them the word and let them know they was doing it because they would see. Now they could be looking back towards you, honouring you. Seeing about the choices. You had to put these boundaries in place. 5, 10, 10. They was on that karmic cycle. 10, 10, 10. Now they're gaining wisdom, coming back again. Because that's 8, 15. That's illusions, devil energy, stress and conflict in your mind. When you have this ego and aggressive, controlling mindset, lacked balance, lacked stability, all because of illusions. Now you can see this masculine's looking back to their heart, their emotions, they're dreaming about you. Grief, because they can see you're the part of that abundance. You was that abundance. Now they're looking back, using their intuitions, connecting to their heart, their mindset towards money, what they was valuing. Now they're looking and gaining that introspection. They're acknowledging their heart, their emotions, the choices that they made. They was in that low dense energy, running for lust, for greed, for pride, karmic energies, not thinking, ego, pride, not mentally, emotionally thinking about it, actions. They didn't have balance. Now they could be letting go of these people. They're gaining that higher clarity because they're evolving. Now you could be empowering these divine feminines and masculines because they're thinking, how am I going to move? Because that's that temple of sacrifice, 8, empowering transformation. They're overwhelmed because it's illusions now. You can see all these illusions. All because of confusions, and then they wasn't mastering. People was blocking them from mastering their story. And then when you have to start looking back and you get that higher awareness and connect to that, the gods within inside of you, and it's that dogmatic thinking. You see that look, you was that look, you was that guidance, you was that provider, that supporter. They seen that serendipity, people blocking them because they thought they was going to this liberation and securing. Are you doing this on purpose? You fight to avoid. So was they doing that on purpose, blocking you, fighting to avoid you, that caring, nurturing, that relationship, because that harmony and that balance, or because of the mindset, psychological aspects, because of the way they're thinking? Flight and detached from emotions. That's when you're Mercury, your intellect, your mental mind. That's when you're not connecting and you're not understanding yourself. And then you have to start gaining that knowledge. They didn't listen to that spirit within inside of them. Boundaries, they didn't have that discernment. Not the last person that you used to know. So not the last person that you used to know. Family, friends in that community. Mother, auntie. 5, lover. Just here, standing fast in one spirit, moving in faith, smiling. So you were standing fast, gaining clarity, looking at your life purpose, because I am. And I grow and act. So they was acting, you are. They was moving and not being right towards you. And could be significant because now they're knowing and getting that knowledge. They didn't have that knowing. You was that joy. Amma is born gentle as wealth. Flexible is a company of life. Flexible is your thing. Be great, gentle. So you was flexible. You just let go. You was caring, nurturing, providing support, and enabling people to grow. They was idealistic and driven through jealousy because they're dysfunctional family settings. Dysfunctional family settings. Stress, conflict in that family settings. So don't worry about it. You didn't miss out on shit. All of a sudden, what they want to say, I'm coming home, baby. I need you. Because there's stress and conflict in the mind. They need nurturing, caring, supporting, assisting. They may have health issues. They're all stressed and it's all their nervous system now. They're trying to hold themselves because it's that serendipity. Not the last person. Building blocks, because they're building that block now, that 10. They're coming, seeing, come again, they're connected to the heart, using the intuitions, that feminine energy was trying to block you, spell work. They're seeing now, getting realistic. All because illusions, confusions, all because people was flight and detached, all because they wasn't able to make these choices when you're having these relationships. You had to see it was not for me, now they're saying not for me. 10, you ended that karmic cycle. You wasn't laying on no lines when certain people was blocking you, not giving you that support, giving you that hold. 10, 6, what you needed, caring, supporting, enabling, providing, assisting. That's when you're moving with that romantic bliss. They may not providing that now, they're ending that cycle. 16, tower moments taking place because it's dysfunctional family. And they're seeing that image. 20, judgment, put on a rass wall. All because you had all these illusions and confusions blocking for money. All because you was being fooled. 21, clean up time. Clean up, clean up, clean up. Every day we clean. As we clean out these bad energies from these people. 2, 3, that be coming to be able to be stubborn and controlling and protect, rule over you. Money. You had connected. You had spiritual values. You listened to that spirit within, that gut feeling. You trusted that was your inner peace. Now they're having stress and conflict within their mind because it was institutionalized. Now they're looking now because you've got that leadership skills and they're having all anxiety because remember, they've got to be able to transform this masculine, connecting to their emotion, this feminine, connecting to theirs. 5, get higher clarity, 4, 15, overwhelmed. 1, 6, and about the choices. Now they're critically analysing and thinking all about you, boo. Because of those building blocks, you look younger than your age. You Stella, go get your groove back so you look younger than your age. You're like Stella, go get your groove back. Because when you let go of heartache, hurt and pain, you ain't holding on to nothing. They look all battered, dry, crusty. They need a shave. They looking skinny, rattled, out of shape, maybe looking in a disguise, full of makeup. They think you done a love spell on them. They think you done a love spell on them. All of a sudden, because they're connecting to their heart, they're getting that spiritual box and that consciousness is awakened to them. And they're looking now at that garden, at that Eden, at the people that was around them, blocking. All because you took that action and you're going towards your success and you ended these karmic cycles and they was flight and detached. And now all of a sudden, they're having stress and conflict within their mind because they was being a fool. Or because that aggressive energy, the way how they acted. And that's just Saturn returning back towards them. You cleanse your energy from them, spell work them, lucky, send them back love and light, peace and joy for them to know better, do better, for the Most High to give them that spiritual box. So if that's what's happening to you, it feels like a dark night in the soul, guys. You're waking up. Don't do to others that you shouldn't be done to yourself. Don't speak bad about people that you don't want to be spoken bad about yourself. Gain them firm foundations and them structures. Have wisdom, because cloned animals too provide messages to throw you off. So even cloned animals, those cloned fake feminines that was cloning to be able to say that you was doing spell work, it was them. They cloned you. She's good on outside, hurting inside. Oh, so they're good on the outside, they're hurting on the inside, stress, anxiety, all because they was doing spell work. Now all of a sudden, those illusions and confusions are coming all back to you now. That's why you don't do to others that you don't want to be done to yourself. Jack, shit, Oakley. So you don't do jack shit. She didn't do jack shit. You just use your intuitions. You're just like a go-go Inspector Gadget. You just seen how certain people was persistent, but you just got this power. And they was stubborn. And because you're grounded and down to earth, they was just didn't understand the process, lacked love and compassion. Joy, light, heartedness, highest vibe. They didn't understand. Joy, light-heartedness is the highest vibe. Joy, light-heartedness, highest vibe. You connected to the divine. You seen the illusions. Let go. Now they wanting to be able to get out. Joy, light. It's the hottest vibe. lightest. And the cycles, let it go, because that's looking at that transitions to be able to grant you more light and love. Grant and ground to the earth. Hold that light with love. So you grounded to the earth, holding it with love and compassion for yourself. You nurtured yourself. You was a high priestess. You connected high to that spirit within, side of you, because when you know you have to cancel on these people, because they think you doing a spell on them. Bottom to the top. All of a sudden, you're that hot girl energy. It's your vibe. You rewrite the script. No frame can cage your fire. It makes her story. So when you fight fire with fire, when people are fighting, it's a spiritual fire. It's within you. It's authenticity, because you slay like that star. You're blazing bright, and you don't chase. You attract. Sorry, it's not in her script. She's the star with no filter. You speak and you tell it how it is. Not for you, boo. You was a bit of bitch. You was jealous. You was clinging on, holding. You weren't loyal. You wasn't real. You was fake. You were projecting out bad energy. Meanwhile, people are still sending you love and compassion. You didn't even have love and compassion for yourself. Why? Because you're full of illusions, and the way how you feel to the way how I feel, two different backside feelings. No filter, straight up. The way how you feel, I feel. Two backside feelings. Go and do the maths. Clear your throat chakra. Fix up yourself. Gain structures and balance. Gain that higher clarity. Open your subconscious and your conscious mind. Stop moving out one left side of your brain. Clean up that mess. Because if you do better, you'll do better, and have compassion and love. Sending that Empress energy, because you're creative, caring, enabling. That's when you need to make that change. You make that change. Yeah, like Michael Jackson out here. Keep telling you that. Stop. Calibrate and listen. You support that new foundation. Something was holding you tightly. Did you ever stop your day in lightly? Did you ever stop yo? You don't know. You didn't turn off the lights because you glow. And you see they've got these mixed signals. They had mixed signals about you, that you was glowing, hot, then cold, then drained. It's real, mixed, stuck, energy, dry, clarity, and that is luxury. Now you can see that hot girl standards, because when you turn off the light, you'll glow. Never bargain. You're an empress. You stand there, you impress. Yeah? You don't chase, you attract. Now they're chasing their mind and their thoughts and their feelings. They're racing because of that spell work, the occultists, those illusions, those secrets. They didn't see that you had these psychic abilities. They didn't see you inherited it from your ancestors. The divine provided, protected your spiritual ancestors, even their spiritual ancestors. It was divinely orchestrated that way. You had to identify. One showed you illusions, one showed you the confusions. Your spirit told you keep on moving forward. Take that transformation. Don't hate. They was procrastinating. You just regenerated. You just kept on moving forward. You had that balance. You gave yourself love. You spoke truth. You spoke life, prosperity in this bleak life. You put boundaries in place when was needed to. You had to communicate with truth. Stand in your power. You see when people was acting and reacting to those actions because they're lying, or because they were trying to take control, or because they was blocked, because what they valued, money, things that you can see, they didn't connect to the spirit of inside of them and get deep connecting, and that's developing coping mechanisms. They didn't be able to develop them coping mechanisms to be secure, balanced, nurture yourself. Because I feel, release those feelings, it's healing. I just feel comfortable around you. Don't get creepy vibes. So they feel comfortable around you. They didn't get creepy vibes. They was trying to do that. It's good on the outside, hurting on the inside. I'm just not the girl. So no, you're just not that girl. You're just not that slay star. Because they don't want people to see you boxed in, isolate you. So you got no filter. They didn't want people to see you, box you in, isolated you. You for spell work. I need a liar, a lawyer. Oh, all of a sudden they need a lawyer. 10, scene, come again, gotta go court. This masculine, about this feminine, child, about this home, property, about things that they was trying to be able to seek. Take it all as it resonates. No trust, not helping me open up, can't trust you. So there's no trust there. Grief, not helping them open up, they can't trust that person who they're with. Because they see it now, that's that forgiveness. They may want your forgiveness, they may want you to forgive them. Because there's no trust there. They're developing these coping mechanisms now. Because they can see your hot girl energy, they're gaining that momentum. That's keep going, stay consistent. You're taking that action, and that's maintaining your high vibrational state. Now they're getting that spiritual box, and it's simplicity. They've got to declutter now, because they know they're just not that girl. They've got to declutter. That's one area of their life today, physically, mentally, emotionally, because no filter. They're seeing that you've got no filter, and they need a lawyer because they're feeling vulnerable now. Spiritual lawyer, emotional lawyer, that's sharing your feelings openly, and that's someone you trust, because they can see they was like achieving, they're looking at that discipline structures, because no trust helping me and open up. I can't even trust you, so you couldn't trust them. They couldn't trust you because they had these illusions, and now they're feeling like they can't trust you because they feel like you're doing spell work. That's that acceleration, transformation, change clothes, ride the waves, progress today. Stay aligned to be able to keep that peace, because that's that transformation, change clothes. The holes now they gotta go, because when you see they was being a fool for a man, I'm having a baby, so that's the problem. Going on like they didn't have a clue. So they was going on like they didn't have a clue. They was going on like a fool for a man, having a baby, vulnerable. Chronicles 1:5-20. Judgment's taking place. So they was having a baby because it was being a fool, childlike spirit, extra energies, these divine feminines, masculines, family members as friends. Be either at Kashgar, India, religion that's looking at that supposed, all providing filled in that ether. It's a record of the past events in that important, the vast concern of infinite energy, waters, emotion, Genesis, stress. 168, because the choices that they made, childlike spirit, seeking, lust, greed, people doing spell work, divinity, occultists, they dividing the waters from the waters. You just finished that links between ether and that metaphorical connection to the waters. That's your role, emotions, relationships, choices, move with love. And your guidance, that's navigating profound deeps of spiritual knowledge. It's learning minds through that mindness and the bad energies, physical as well as spiritual. House is big like a maze, beautiful. So that house, fighting for that house, it's big like a maze, it's beautiful. Holistic sex, actual healing, tantric. So they may be wanting holistic sex, tantric healing, because they're spiritually, emotionally blocked, balanced. They need spiritually cleansing when they come near you, because remember they've been near dark, deep entities, emotionally, mentally blocking their mind. 6, because of the choices, relationships, emotionally, mentally blocking the mind. The death, transformation, now they need cleansing because they need healing. Their excessive pride, like they had high options of themselves, and they ain't shit, not even stink. They stink bad. Those karmics that they picked up, they was stressed, they was full of illusions and confusions in their mind. They was like a low dense energy vampire, succubus, Jezebel spirit, drained the life out of them, because now they could see it was a mirror part of them. It was that shadow aspect side of their self. You know, when they came with aggression and conflict and stress, they picked up aggression, conflict and stress. The way how they dealt and dealt with you, that's how the karmics treating with them. The way how you felt when they left you, now all of a sudden, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later, 5, 1 week, 2 weeks since they spoke, now they're feeling that way. Because one's weary. They can't walk past a mirror and look dread in one room. They look like a walking zombie. They look like a walking corpse. They look spiritually, mentally, and emotionally drained. So they need tantric X from you for truth to be able to have that healing for them. Because that's talking and that's looking now. They're looking at themselves in the mirror like that top shelf admiration. You good with yourself. You got these qualities. You got these accomplishments. And they can see now that's that sense of self and awareness. You stand within your power. You've got that true authenticity. Now all of a sudden, oh, let's see what the tea is, because they want to come back towards you. This big ass, this beautiful maze, they've got a baby now. They're all of a sudden want to go cold. They want to kick this bitch out. Oh. So they've got fake accounts, and that's lurking on your socials, hiding identity, and that's stop watching you. They can't stop watching you. Every little thing that you do, you get me checking upon you. The little things that you do, I got a lot of freaking you, baby. Because that's that house, it's that big house, it's amazing, it's beautiful. They can see all that big house, that queen rising coming up in that spotlight, shining. You got that big house of knowledge, wisdom, supporting, enabling people to encompass emotions, thoughts and feelings, because they're having stress. Now remember, the developing mechanisms to be able to cope out here in these streets. Bankrupt. It's grief because they're bankrupt. You're rising there, spiritually, mentally, emotionally bankrupt. Feeling like you're uninterested. I feel a little unappreciated. They took your love for granted, babe. Now the karmic took it to granted. Why can't you take your love? Yep, so talking. And they're all played out. Spiritually, mentally. They're rejecting the karmic now for talking shit. The karmic talking this shit about you behind your back. They could have been spreading lies about you. Smiling in your face. Chat behind your back. Because you're blowing up. They was played out. Bankrupt, lying, partying, chatting shit. They maybe want to try and write you. Look, giving money to the karmic. They maybe want to come back and try and give you money. Their bills, they need to pay their bills. They need to pay their debts and their dues. They've got debts going on, debts in people's houses, relationships, fire. Need to pay these things. Yeah, these wolf in sheep clothing, was kissing ass, same shit, just a different day when you pick and you pick and you pick shit out of those relationships. Yeah. Now they're asking themselves, why me? Every time. Because they wasn't vigilant, they didn't have no values. They didn't listen to their spirit. They wasn't going and looking at these virtues of life. Their violent and volatile self. Revelations. References. Referrals. F again. Motherfuckers. MFC. Core. For more. Vacation, vocation, voice, another C. S. Cross. Some. Horse, house. Could be far. Ooh, what's dropping? I think it's a W. We've got a G, W, and K. KFC, they're moving like Kentucky Fried fucking chicken. SM, some more, surf, core, whore, SM, VOR, Cry, Christ, Crystal, Kirk, Chrissa, Morris, Ford, Crawford, take it all as it resonates, guys.